Good morning, Canadian Yarn Heart. My name is Alyssa, and today's just a quick project video. As you can see, Vader's back there, and Willow is right there. Maya's at my feet. And today we're just going to do a quick project video of this cute little heart bag that I came up with. So that's what we're going to do today. I used 4 colors on this one and black. I'm going to use a slightly different color of what I'm going to use white for the bag because it'll show up on camera better, and a slightly different technique. I will show both techniques. As you can see on the inside, I carried the yarn behind, so I didn't work it in. I just carried it behind. This one I'm going to do a slightly different way, but I will explain how I did both. If you are new here, thank you very much for coming. I very much appreciate it. If you are a return viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I very much appreciate that. Just a quick synopsis of what I do here is Monday. Sorry, I'm getting used to a new schedule. I used to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and releasing a bunch of project videos. Now I'm only doing one weekly video. So a Monday video, a weekly Monday video, which will update all the projects I'm doing of the week and how much I've gotten done and stuff like that. I'm going to be releasing a project video on Thursdays, just exactly like this, a smaller project. Sometimes they'll be a bit bigger, but I will let you know them and how long generally it'll take. Obviously, these projects are going to start taking longer if I have a job. It is going to happen. Can't be helped. So I am going to move you over, or I would love to earn your like and subscription. It really does help the algorithm. I would love to hear from you any questions, comments, or concerns you have below. That really helps too. I am going to move you over to the overhead cam and we're going to get started. So what we're using here is, with this one, I used 4 different styles and colors of yarn. For this one, and I actually used a very thick base. However, this yarn is going to be much thinner, but I have more balls of it because instead of, as you can see here, like I said, I went behind the heart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change balls of yarn for each break in between the hearts. So it's going to be a new yarn. So I am going to have 4 balls of this. I'm going to have 2 balls of that and 2 balls of that. That's how I'm going to do this one. It is going to get a little confusing, but it is how I can do it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to give you the information on this one first. So this is Yarnspirations Caron Simply Soft Party. It is called Snow Sparkle. It is a 4 medium. It recommends a 5mm needle and a 5mm hook. As you can see, I'm going to be using a 4, but it recommends a 5. And then this yarn I ordered from Amazon. As you can see, it doesn't really give anything in English. So no chlorine bleach, no chloride bleach, dry in the shade, plain, like it gives you nothing. And then this one at least tells me it's 100% polyester. This one I also ordered off of Amazon. I will link these 2 yarns. This recommends a 5mm to an 8mm needle and a 6.5mm hook to a 9mm hook for this yarn. So those are those 2. Now I have to find the center pull, and on these Caron ones, they actually usually are pretty easy to find. And it'll be somewhere in here. And as I said, I will be using the 4mm hook. And now we're going to start the bottom of the bag. So you don't need a huge tail here. And so how I did that is I wrap around my finger and I pinch it, pulling the loop off. I push with my finger this strand and I pull tight. That is how I get a slip knot. There are many different ways to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 30. So 1, 2, and that's just wrap around and pull through. Wrap around and pull through. And you just keep wrapping around the hook and pull through. Wrap around and pull through. So now you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now that's the length of chain. That's going to be the base of your bag. So I'm going to chain one more, and then I'm going to turn, and I'm going to work in the second loop from the hook. So you see there's a loop there, there, and here. Now you can work into the back loops. Because this is the base, I don't think it really matters. So I'm just going to do the easier one. And we're just going to single crochet all the way across, which I like to do for a base, especially on a bag. So that way you have a thicker base, things aren't going to go through it. You may not lose your needles, hooks, whatever, through the bottom of the bag. I always like to have a solid base. And then the sides, they don't matter quite so badly. And I will be adjusting a few things on that bag. It was just more or less a test to see how to make it and how I wanted to make it. So I did do a few things I'm going to do slightly different here. As I said, this one is a thicker yarn. I used Red Heart Simple Saver, or Super Saver, sorry, black. I had a good ball of it, or I used the Brunette Super Saver black. It's one of the two. I'm not sure which one I did actually use. And then, like I said, I just had 4 different color hearts, and I traveled the black all the way around, and I will show you how you can do both here. Like I said, I wanted this one has a bit of a pulled in look for the hearts. So the yarn that pulled around actually has tension and makes the hearts look sucked in. That's why I'm hoping the look of this bag will have a little more elasticity. It is a little more work, but I'm hoping it'll look good at the end. So that is a slip stitch there, that knot. You can include this. I am going to, which is why I only had 29 stitches that I've single crocheted. And then that one becomes my 30th. So if you do not do this particularly, you can just chain one more, and then you're going to chain 2 there. So you just chain one more stitch and then just ignore that at the end. I like to work into it because otherwise it looks bulky. So you're going to single crochet now for, I'm going to measure this one. I did make this one a little bit smaller. Scissors. So this one we are going to do 5 inches. So we're going to work for 5 inches in the single crochet base. And then I will come back and I will show you the next step. I did want to show this before I get too far as I start the second row, just in case you are new to crochet. There is a hoop loop here. You want to start into the second one and to go across. So that's the only thing different from the first one, is you have a lot more eye placement of where you place your hook. And that way you can see where you're working, and you work all the way across to the very last stitch, which I'll show you here. I just want to make sure you see what the last stitch looks like. A lot of times, and I have done this many times myself, you think you've got it, you go a couple of rows, you realize it's starting to go in, you go a few more, you're like, did I lose a stitch? Frog it all back, get to that place and test it out. If you go in and it looks fine after, you've missed a stitch. I know it sucks. I know frogging is not our favorite thing. We don't want to have to undo the hard work we've done. And if you can live with it, all the more power to you. I have some projects I can live with and some I can't. And some I've tried multiple times to pull out, it doesn't work, and I just, okay, that's fine. So as we get down to the end of this row, I'm going to show you how there is now 2 stitches there. There is now 1 stitch. So that is a stitch right there. I don't know if I can get you to see, but there's 2 loops. You go in, and that is the end of the row, and it looks a nice clean line. And then you just chain 2, turn, skip this one, and go into that one and single crochet. So as I said, you're going to do that for about 5 inches. I'm probably going to do either 5.5 or 6 if it doesn't look like a square. That's what I usually try to aim for, is my projects to look square-ish. So the bags look like they're a proper square. And as long as that works, I will come back and tell you how far I went. It doesn't always translate when you change sizes of yarn. If I was using the same yarn, I would do the same measurements, but this one is a little thinner. So I may have to do a little more just to make it look better. So I will tell you that when I come back. Okay, so I have 6 inches here. I figured I'd end up doing a little bit more because I like to have a square look. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a stitch marker and we're going to mark the beginning of the row. And this is so that because you're going to go around each edge, and when you get back here, you want to know that this is the beginning. So by doing that, it makes your work a lot easier. So you're going to do the normal single crochet along here. Keep getting it caught on my arm. And then you're just gonna go all the way up to the corner, and you're going to do this for all 4 corners on just this row only, because it's going to be a bag. You just want to this is your 1 row to make the base row even. So this is your base row to go around the bag. This is your very first base row. And then we're going to change the stitch. And you just work all the way along. And you come up to this edge. Once you get to this edge, you're going to do this to all 3 other corners, but only this row. If you were doing a hand towel, you would continue to go around using 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. And what that does is that takes your stitch and it goes all the way around the corner. So you've got a nice fluid corner, and you're just going to continue all the way down this line. Every row or every space, so every space has a row, or every row has a little bit of a space, and that's where you're going to put your hook in, starting this base row. And as I said, you're just going to keep going all the way across. And then when you get the corner, you're going to do the 3 stitches again. So that's how you do this. I will come back right at the end to show you how to attach the 2 together and start the next row. And I will be back in a sec. So I'm just on the last corner. So I've got 2. Here's number 3. So there's the 3rd stitch. Split. There we go. And then what you want to do is you want to come over and you want to slip stitch together. Now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to double crochet in each and every row, single crochet. So this is how you're going to double crochet. So you want to wrap over, put it in the loop, wrap again, pull through, wrap again, pull through 2, and then pull through 2. So I'll try that again, show you that again. So wrap around, put in through the hole, come out, wrap around, put in through 2 loops, wrap around and put through 2 more. In the hole, pull out, wrap, pull through 2 and pull through 2. And you're going to do that over and over again all the way around. So that is this row. Now the next row, we're going to start the granny stitch part of this. So this is a granny stitch heart bag. So you're just going to go, this is the easiest way to start this row. I did try starting it the other way where you start with the granny stitches and it just didn't turn out right. So we're going to do this. I will be back at the end of this row to show you how to finish it off and how to start the next one. Okay, so I'm almost done that first row. You're going to go up here and slip stitch the 2 together. 1, 2, 3 chains. Now what you're going to do is you're going to skip 3 and then you're going to do your 4 double crochets. Or did I do 3? Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now there is a reason I am doing 4 and I'm skipping 3. I did find that 3 is a really good skip. And you're just going to follow this all the way around. 3 doesn't stretch it. If you do 4, it stretches it a little too far. But having the 3 stitches on the bottom row, it works really nicely. And you're just going to do this all the way across. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I said, you're going to do that all the way around. And when I come back, I'll show you the next row. So now that I'm coming up to the end of this row, you see that's where your first double crochet is. So you're going to do 3 more. So 3 here, 1, 2, and 3. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch that one up in together. So now I'm going to do 1 more row of double crochet. And then actually, let me see here. So yeah, I think I'm going to do 2 more rows of double crochet just like this. So your granny square double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so 2 more rows of this, and then we're going to start the color change. 2, 3, 4. So I'll be back when I'm done the next 2 rows, and I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll start the next step. Okay, so I've gotten those rows done. Now the best thing to do is find your corners, fold it, and right there is where one of your colors is going to start. I actually am going to do it the original way because the way this is looking is it needs to be tightened up a bit. So these hearts will tighten it up. And then what you want to do is you want to flatten it. So that's this one. So there's my second heart. Now what the best thing to do is fold this way. And here's one. And on this one, here's that. So that's where all 4 of your hearts are going to start. Now, as I said, I'm going to do it the way I did it for this bag. I wasn't gonna, I'll tell you how to do it. 1, 2, 3. So you have your chain stitch. Now you're going to do 2, 3, 4. And you're going to go over to just before the stitch marker. And then you do 4 here. So I'm working on the outside of the bag. So what you want to make sure is all your work is going to have the right side facing out. So for here, this will be the last stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now what you want to do is start with a purple or pink or whatever your one color is going to be. So what you want to do is you want to pull them through the 2 loops. Keep your white at the back, wrap it around, go into this stitch, just trying not to get the white one tangled. So you're going to come up, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can take the stitch marker out now because now you know where it's going to start. So you don't really need it on now. And now what you want to do, get rid of that, is you're going to carry the white behind the purple, come up through the 2 loops, and now you're going to just come all the way down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to travel all the way around to the next color and do the same thing all the way on this row. So I'll come back for the next row to show you what's the next step. So we're on the next row, and what we're going to do is we're going to work the white all the way over to just before the first purple. 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this one you want to do it one before. And what you're going to do is just bring the yarn over. So bring it over to where you want to work with it. And this I like to work into what I'm doing. So I try to grab it. Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then just do the same with this one. 1, 2. Oh, wait, no, I did that wrong. That one's not quite close enough. So that one's too far. So what you want to do is do this one right beside it, not this one. 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4. And now you add the purple, and it won't be anywhere near as big of a tug for that one. And you just make sure you don't grab the white. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to do this one in purple as well. And here you're going to put the white back in, and you're going to go to the next purple. And you're going to do this all the way around this row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I will come back and show you the third row, or the third purple row, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so we're on row number, this one's the third row with the purple. So we're just gonna come over here, and we are just going to continue on with our granny stitch. And you're going to do this increasing like this on the hearts 4, and let me just finish this stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I absolutely love the look between the white and the white iridescence and the purple chenille. So you're going to increase until you have 4 of these. So you're going to do this row, which I'll show you how to do this row. The next row will have 4 of these purple heart chunks, the granny square chunks that equal the heart. So I have 4 of them. And then in the 5th one, I'll come back and I will show you the next step. And obviously I'm going to end up using more than one ball of the Caron Party, I think it was called. Caron Simply Soft Party. I'm going to be using more than just one ball. I'm almost done with that one ball, so I like to put that at the back. Actually, I'm going to get it untangled from the purple. And that way, there we go. That's a good. And now this one should have 3 purple sections. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you'll have the second one right here in the center of the heart. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the third one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will come back after this row and the next row, and then we will be doing number 5. So let's just detangle. It does get a little complicated with all 4 colors. However, you're only doing them for a few rows. So if you can handle it, it is a bit confusing. Just try to keep them as detangled as possible. 1, 2, 3. Oh, just going to detangle this for a quick second. 4, and you're just going to continue this all the way around. And like I said, you're going to do this one, and then the next one you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I come back, we'll be on the 5th row with the 5, and I'll show you how it differs. So I'll be back in just a sec. So I don't know if you heard me on that last one. So what we're doing, I will explain it again, is you're going to go over to here, and then you're going to do 1 with your 4, 2 whites, 1, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put in our darning needle, and we're going to darn it up and in. I didn't realize I did not have my mic on. It's just a moment. I took it off to let it charge and forget to put it back in. So you're going to darn this one nice and tight and in, and you don't want it to fall off. So get it all nice and good and darned. Grab all the little fluffs. And yes, this yarn does have little fluffs as you're working it. So like here, now that I've cut it, it's going to get more fluffy. It is what it is. It is the yarn you work with. That is a chenille, and it is how it works. So I will show you again. So we're going to work the white over. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just keep working over to the next one. And now that I have my mic in, I can make it a little bit better. Hello, Maya. Are you playing? So you're just gonna, like I said, keep working our way over. If you do notice there's a little bit of a color change here, it is the same yarn. It is just years different. I had bought the Party On shimmer many years ago, and I had a few balls kicking around. The bright white one is one I just bought and had delivered. So there is a bit of a dye lot issue right there, but since this is just a bag for me, I'm not too overly worried about it. It is why they say buy all that you need in one dye lot, because they can change that. I mean, this is just white. You wouldn't think they'd do it, but they went from an antique color to a beautiful, brilliant white, which I kind of like better. But I wasn't going through to see which one was bright white and which one was antique until after I'd added it. So here's how we start this heart. So you're going to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sorry, the cat's playing on the bed. Maya. So there's your 4th one, not pulling it through. Now what you want to do is find the yarn ball you're working with, because you do have 4 of them if you're following the colors I'm doing. And then you want to do 1 of your granny stitches in here. So there's that one. We're going to change to the white and then do 2 of the white. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to just bring this white over, or the purple over, to do your last purple on this one. 1, 2, 3, trying to get the white off, 3, and 4. And here you're going to grab the white, and you're just going to continue on with the white. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. But you also want to trim the purple. So just give yourself a bit of a trim. And there's that one. So now you're down 2 of the balls, which will make it a whole lot easier to work with. And as you know, I like to darn in my needles, or my ends. And again, this is just the way chenille is. It is going to floof on you and fluff around and leave little bits of fluff all around on you. It is what it is. It is a chenille. They are known to do that. I will say it seems to be nice to work with this yarn. It doesn't fluff unless you're pulling on ends, it seems. I'm not too rough with it, but it does appear that it works really well and really nicely. And I don't pull a lot of it out. I don't do a lot of that. So all I can say is what I'm working with, and it does seem to be appearing to work really nicely. So I'm going to finish off this row. And when I get to the end, it'll just be white from then on. So I will be back in a minute to tell you the next stage. Okay, so now that I'm done that, we're just going to start darning in the last colored one. And that way I've got them all darned in and I don't have to worry about any of these ends. As you can see, the bag is still leaning open. I'm going to fix that with the very top row or top rows. I'm not quite there yet, but I am going to fix and make it look good. And right now we are just darning in the last end. So we got that done. So now what you want to do is you want to do multiple rows of white. So I think we did 4 rows of white. So we're going to continue that on this next 4 rows. So we're just going to do straight white all the way around. And then after I do the 4 rows, I will come back and show you how to finish off the top border and tightening it up. And then we'll do the handle and we should be done. So I finally finished, and this has taken me a few hours. So this one is a bit bigger of a project. And I finally got, this is the way I want it. 4 rows, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first tighten up row. So what we're going to do is you have your double crochet. You're going to go into the next, and you're only going to do 3 double crochets in this. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go to the next one, and 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to do 4 rows. Hello. Of 3 double crochets. It'll be a bit of growing, but it will also be a bit of shrinking. And then I think I'll be able to, hello, Willow. Sorry about that. Yes. All right, I'm going to pause this. Okay, now that he's gone. So we're just going to do the 3 double crochets. And what that should hopefully do is tighten up my bag, because I can see my bag is very, very loose. It's got a lot of extra stitches. So we're going to go 3 or 4 rows with just the 3 double crochets. And I will come back and I will tell you the next row. So I will be back when I'm done this 3 rows. So like I said, you're just going to do double crochets. And you just do 3 of them, which should start to tighten this top of the bag up so it's not so loose. And as I said, once I'm done these 3 double crochets, we should be able to start the next step, which will be tightening up the top and making it almost a band on the top. So when I come back, I will show you that. Okay, so I have that done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to transition to single crochet, and every 3rd stitch, 1, 2, 3, you're going to decrease 1, which means do 2. So you go in, wrap, and then through both. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and together. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, together. You're going to finish that all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 2. So I will be back in a second, and I will show you the next step after that. I'm right at the end, and it's just, so I have 2 here, but there's 1 more, so I'm going to decrease all 3 and then just slip stitch and finish. So 1, 2. Now you're going to single crochet each stitch, and you want to do that for 4 rows. So I will be back when I've done my 4 rows of single crochet, and that usually does for me include that first row. I'll usually include it in the count if I remember to, and if not, I will come back and tell you how many rows I did, and we will start the handle in a minute. So I've gotten 7 rows here. I wanted to give myself a really good top border because my bag is a little large some reason. It went bigger than this other one I had. I knew I was doing it a little bit bigger, but this one got very much bigger. So we're going to trim it off, because we're going to call that. And then I'm going to darn this in first. So you just want to darn it in nice and good and tight, and that way it'll keep its strength, because it is just the border. And I wanted to make sure it decreased enough so that when you put something in it, and if it falls or whatever, it all won't come spilling out. And the way I've made it is almost like a beanie hat, so that it will hold more on the inside, and it shouldn't fall apart. So now what you wanted to do is you want to find the corners. So that's a corner right here, and then your other corner is right here. So then what you're going to do is you're going to hold it together, and that's your center stitch. And then this will be your other center stitch. So I'm going to put a stitch mark in it as well. Now what you want to do is you're going to make the handle. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the 5th one from the stitch marker, put your hook in. And we're just going to single crochet a 10 stitch handle. So 1, 2. So you've got your chain 2 now. And now you're just going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can take the stitch marker out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and you're going to want to work your handle until it's as long as between your fingers. And then when I come back, I will show you how to stitch it up, and we should be done. So I just got the handle done. I did go a little bit farther. I did want to have a bit more space in it. So the handle ends about here, and I went a little bit farther. So I will measure that and show you. So I did about 12 inches just to make sure I had enough space. Now here I like to flip my handle on itself. So here's the good side of it. You're looking at the good, and you've flipped it over, and you're looking in, pardon me, into the wrong side. So you're looking into your basket, or your bag, I mean. There's that one. And then just grab 2 loops. Go under grabbing 4 loops. And you just keep grabbing 4 loops. 4 loops. Go. I'm going to double back on myself to have a locking stitch in there, so it should keep it well and tight. And we're just going to keep going back and forth. And when you get to this end, you want to put another kind of locking stitch in and just work your way backwards, giving your work a chance to almost pull properly so there's no uneven tug. I do find that this can help balance out borders when you go backwards, and it takes it from having a pinch point to a much more evened level layer. So you're much more even, you're much more flush, and it looks so much better. I'm going to just lock that in, wrapping around the needle, putting it back on, and then I'm just going to darn it through, and there you have it. This bag did take me all day, so it will take a little bit of time. This one is a little bit longer because this is a little larger. If you wanted to make it a bit smaller, I would recommend doing 25 stitches on your base row. And for that first row where I did the 3, I would recommend do your 4, skip 2, do your 4, skip 2. I think it'll make it a much better, tighter bag. The bag will more represent this style. So it is a very nice, here, I'm going to show you a little bit. So it stands up on its own. This one's like a slouchy beanie hat. It's very nice though. When you fill it up with yarn, it's going to look really, really good. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Actually, hold on. I'm going to pause you, fill it up, and I'll show you in a second when it's full. So there you have it. The bag is filled there. It's full of, actually, I filled it with faux fur yarn. And then this one is just a lot smaller, but it has a much more rigidness to it. So I think if you do it that way, it'll be a little more rigid. However, I do adore these cute little hearts. And there you have it. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope to see you on my channel again. Bye.